All right, guys, this is the final video. We've done a scatter plot, we've done a line of best fit, and now we are going to graph a residual plot. So in order to do that, I'm going to use list 3 and list 4 in those tables. And then I'm going to adjust some stuff in the stat plot menus so that way we can see that residual plot. So I'm going to go to stat, edit, and what I'm going to do is I already have my X values. I have my experimental value, so to speak. I'm going to actually get the predicted value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to list 3 and I'm going to scroll up. And I want to find the values of my line of best fit, which I still have stored, Y1 of every element, every number in list 1. So I'm going to go ahead and hit alpha trace. I'm going to select Y1 and I'm going to use function notation. So I'm going to use parenthesis and I'm going to select list 1. So that's the blue key above 1. So I'm going to do second. Notice that's a up arrow. 1. So that's list 1. Close the parenthesis. So when I hit enter, it'll calculate the expected value at each point in list 1. All right, so now I want to calculate the residuals, the difference between the actual and the predicted. So I'm going to scroll right to list 4. I'm going to scroll up. So I want to take everything, every row. For every row, I want to take list 2 minus list 3. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. So second 2 for list 2 minus second 3 for list 3. So it will calculate the differences for me. All right, so now I have my residuals. So I'm going to graph a second stat plot so that I'm comparing the residuals. All right, before I do that, I'm going to go to my y equals menu. And I want to turn this equation off because I don't want to see this line when I graph my residual plot. So I'm just going to scroll left and hit enter over the equal sign. So it's no longer highlighted. That is going to turn it off. All right, now I'm going to press second y equals to go to my stat plots. I'm going to select the first stat plot and all I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it off because I don't want it to graph that scatter plot. But I do want to keep it in case I need to go back to it. So I'll scroll up and I'm going to scroll right to plot 2 and hit enter. Now it'll take me into the menu for the second scatter plot. So I'm going to turn that on. I'm going to keep it a scatter plot. My X list is still list 1, but my Y list, instead of being list 2, is going to be list 4. So I'm going to press second 4. And now I'm going to hit my zoom button. I'm going to do zoom 9 for my zoom stat. And I'm going to see my residual plot. So if I look at this, I'm looking for one of two things to see if this would be a linear model. I'm looking to see that either there is no pattern or that I have a flat pattern at the top, above the axis, and below the axis. And as I look at this, I don't really see much of a pattern. So I can probably say that this is a linear model. If I see something where it shows curves, whether it's a curved shape or it starts together and curves away from each other, um, anything like that is going to represent a nonlinear model. In which case, we might want to think about what other models could I use, and those are different types of functions that we're going to get into throughout the course of this year. But you guys will do more practice with the regression part in Algebra 2. So there's residual plots, and that's the end of this 3-part series. So if you are still struggling, if you have a different type of calculator, let me know, and we'll work together to try to make sure we get you guys what you need to be able to do all this.